Good morning. Welcome to Bowers Museum. My name is Anne Llewellyn, and I am a volunteer docent here at the Bowers. At the invitation of Ayden Chi, who is chairwoman of the Bowers Museum Board of Governors, a fellow docent, Becky McReynolds, and I have been training junior ambassadors for the past 5 years. This was our 6th summer, and Becky was not able to be with us because she's been living in Oregon, so we've definitely missed her this year. So Ayden Chi founded the Junior Ambassadors Program about 20 years ago, and each year she selects talented high school students to become volunteer junior ambassadors at the museum. They study and learn about Chinese culture as well as public speaking skills, which she believes are essential to leadership development. This year, she named 20 students to be junior ambassadors. So what you will see today is each one of them presenting a work of art from Treasures in Gold and Jade Masterworks from Taiwan. So I hope you enjoy their presentations. What's special about this year's Junior Ambassadors class is that 2 of them, Ayden Chi and Ayden Chi, have been assistant trainers, so they've had the opportunity to work with students and develop different skills for themselves. So Ian will be introducing the gallery to you, and Ayden will wrap up the presentations at the end. We have another key member of our team, and that is Alice Llewellyn, who is the special project assistant, and she communicates with the parents and with the students so that she keeps everything moving along on track. I would like to thank Ayden Chi and Dr. Peter Keller, who is the president of Bowers Museum, for opening the museum up to these talented students so that they can explore and learn. I would also like to thank the junior ambassadors who've done a terrific job this year learning about a special artwork and enjoying the passion of learning. I would also like to thank their parents as well as Bowers audience members who have supported the junior ambassadors in their learning experiences. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody, my name is Ayden Chi, and I am a junior ambassador currently interning at the Bowers Museum. Today you'll be touring the Gold and Jade Masterworks from Taiwan exhibit, and the 2 artists that we are showing today are Wu Qing, a sculptor who uses gold and wood to show artistic expression, and Huang Fushou, who uses his knowledge of jade to create very intricate sculptures. Before we look at the different artifacts, let's first talk about the materials that the 2 artists use. First, let's talk about the jade. There are 2 types of jade, river jade and polished jade. River jade, which is shown here, comes from Houtian, Xinjiang province in China, and is hard to spot because of how similar it is to rocks. Next, we have the polished jade, which comes from eastern Taiwan, and this is the more commonly known form that is seen throughout the world. Finally, we have the gold, which comes from the Oriental Mine in Sierra County in California. Contrary to the belief that gold is a big blocky substance, true gold comes from its crystallized form, which is then later melted into the substance that you see today.
Hello, my name is Brandon Shih, and I'm a junior ambassador for the Bowers Museum. This piece here is called Prosperous Descendants, made by Wu Qing, and is the largest sculpture you'll see in this museum. Wu Qing gains inspiration to make these pieces from childhood memories or his relationship with nature. Despite other sculptors working on their arts alone, Wu Qing has a specialized team that makes wood molds out of his ideas. When you first look at Prosperous Descendants, you immediately notice the sheer size of this piece. How do you think they are able to move this from Taiwan to Bowers? Well, actually, some people may or may not know this, but every piece here is actually able to disassemble and reassemble itself in another area. It takes one person 3 days if they spend 8 hours a day trying to reassemble this piece. Thank you for listening for my presentation.
Good afternoon, my name is Eva, and I will be introducing you to this gold piece by Wu Qing called Zen. This piece features a cicada at the top of it, which is created by 65 grams of pure gold. The bottom is a sphere and is created by silver. Wu Qing created this sculpture in 1991, and in Mandarin Chinese, cicada and Zen are both pronounced Chan. Wu Qing uses this as a homophonic pun to represent the state of Zen. As you can see, the only half of the cicada is visible. Do you think that the cicada is going into this world or coming out? To me, I think that the cicada is going into the sphere because it's on its side and it is giving the illusion that it's falling. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Welcome to Bowers Museum. My name is Larry D, and I am one of the volunteer junior ambassadors here at Bowers Museum. Today I'll show you a piece by Wu Qing, which is titled My Life. It's made from 180 grams of gold in plastic in 1995. So originally Wu Qing first started off as a wood carver. Eventually he decided that he wanted to use a material that could last a long time. So naturally he decided to use gold as a material for his sculptures. Even though he doesn't create wood sculptures as the final product anymore, he still uses them to create the molds which will be used to cast the gold sculptures. As you can see here, this is a sculpture of grass entangled in some plastic wrappings. Even though the grass seems to be thriving, it doesn't want to be entangled in all of that plastic. So when you first look at the sculpture, how does it make you feel? Well, it gives me a sense of struggle. And why do you think the artist would want to title this work My Life? Well, I believe that the artist is using this work as a representation of his own life. So, in my own opinion, I believe that the artist is using this work as a representation of his own life. As you can see, this plant is clearly thriving. Even though it's thriving, it seems as if it does not want to be entangled in all of that plastic. So the artist seems to be using the plastic wrappings as a representation of the things that are bound to his life. And just like the plant, who does not want to be entangled in all that plastic, Wu Qing seems like he does not want to be bound to all those things in life. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Devin. I am a junior ambassador at the Bowers Museum. Today I want to show you the piece Water Frolic. It is made by Wu Qing. He is mastered on gold sculptures. On this piece you can see different sizes of crabs and different insects. Wu Qing thinks that the nature is very bizarre because on the crabs there is hard shell, but there is furs on the arm of the crab. So first of all, what do you think, how did he make all the crabs in such detail? So he first started his career with wood. He started carving wood, but he soon found out that wood will tarnish very quickly in the future. So he moved on to a different material, gold. It will not tarnish, and then you can melt it and then mix it together so it can reshape it. So first, he started by making a wood sculpture of this crab, and then he made a mold for it, and then he poured the gold in it to make all different sizes of the crab. Then he placed it onto the rocks to make this piece. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayden Chi and I'm a junior ambassador at Bowers Museum. Today I'll be presenting to you Throb. Let's start off with, what do you see from this piece? Well, I personally see from this piece that there is a plant going through a brick, and also with a brick going onto a plant. This comes from a story. One day there were two monks arguing over the temple flag, whenever it was the flag moving or whenever it was the wind moving. Well, a master who happens to be passing by overheard this conversation. He said that it was not the flag moving or the wind, it was actually all in their minds. If we bring it back to this piece of art, it was not the plant moving or the brick, it's actually all in your mind. Something that I found interesting about this piece was how the artist Wu Qing made pieces of gold go through the brick silver. And also I found it interesting how they would shape the brick of silver to make it seem like the plant is going through. A theme that I can take away from this piece of art is nature, or perhaps struggle. It can be seen in the art, there is a piece of plant struggling through the bricks. I believe this could also show maybe Wu Qing's life as he struggled through each step or each brick. I believe that this could symbolize Wu Qing's life and how he would pass through each brick or each struggle, and he is the plant. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Riley Stern, and I'm a junior ambassador here at Bowers. Today I'll be presenting I Need Soil by Wu Qing here at the Gold and Jade exhibit. As you can see, this is a gold structure of a tree emerging from a plastic bottle. Now, what do you think Wu Qing was trying to demonstrate with this sculpture? I think that he was trying to demonstrate there's a multitude of different definitions. One being the pollution in the earth and how the plastic bottle represents how much plastic and glass is in the ocean right now, and how nature will prevail through all of it. And how if we don't help it prevail, we will either go with it or be destroyed like the plastic bottle. Another way to interpret this is the human experience and how we all have our own struggles, but in the end we go through the same process of being contained by it and eventually breaking through in some sort of way. As an artist myself, you could see that there's multiple ways to interpret this and how its imperfections, if you look very closely, are what's perfect about it. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day at the Bowers.
Hello everyone, my name is Harris and I'm a junior ambassador here at the Bowers Museum. So today I'll be presenting the artifact Mother and Son by Wu Qing. And this artifact is made out of pure gold and silver, and what it's showing is a bone of a mother with 5 of her sons clinging onto her. And you might think those 5 small things might be some little bugs or just random animals on land, but in reality those are her sons trying to stay alive by clinging onto their mom, and those are actually catfishes. And what the artist is trying to show here is the connection between the mom and the sons. So the artist here is just trying to show all of her sons clinging onto her, and she is giving up her own body and her own soul to keep the 5 small catfishes alive. And what's interesting about this is also that the artist's style of artwork. So for this one, on the very bottom, it's a little turquoise, and the artist wants us to know that the fish are in the water, but in reality, the fishes, if you look anywhere outside the artifact, you see, oh, they're on land. Obviously, fishes can't survive on land, so the artist wants you to imagine that, oh, all the small fishes are in the water, and that's also Wu Qing's style of artwork.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Cheng, and I'm a junior ambassador here at Bowers Museum. Today, I will be introducing Magical Lotus, one of master artist Wu Qing's famous gold artworks. So as stated previously, Magical Lotus is made out of gold, but more specifically, 24-karat pure gold. Furthermore, the bowl at the base is made of green clay, which is representative of the swamp in which a lotus resides in. Now, just to ask a rhetorical question, what small objects or details about this piece stand out to you? And while many things could be said about this, the most important feature are the small creatures that are littered around the plant and at the base and on the leaf, such as that dragonfly right there and that frog at the base. Now, many of Wu Qing's sculptures find their motivation in Buddhist belief, and Magical Lotus is no exception to this. In Buddhist traditions, lotus represent life and purity, and this is symbolic because lotus come from the depths of dirty, muddy swamps, and yet, despite all that seemingly impossible adversity, they're able to overcome it and grow into the beautiful, magnificent plants we know and love today. Now, we can apply this to real life because just like lotus, we often find ourselves in situations in which we seem to be drowning in dirt and muck and just cannot grow from it. Magical Lotus's teaching is that if we follow Buddhist belief, just like the lotus, we too can overcome our dirt and muck and find our inner beauty and enlightenment. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy exploring the rest of the gallery.
Hello everyone, my name is Benson Qian, and I am another volunteer for the Junior Ambassador program here. The theme of my presentation today is reminiscence of rustic pleasures created by Wu Qing. In my opinion, the two most important things about this piece is first off, the composition. Looking at it, it has a very nice spiral that's intended, I believe, to sort of guide your eyes around the piece. Secondly are of course, the insects used in this piece. In it, there are mantises, there are butterflies, there are ants, there are also cicadas and dragonflies. And each of these insects all have their own important individual meaning in this piece. For example, the butterflies, the cicadas, and the dragonflies all symbolize change and transformation. Think about how the cicada spends a majority of its life underground only to emerge out for a little bit. Think about how the dragonfly spends their time as young in the water, and when growing up, begin to dominate the air. And of course, the butterfly, which transforms from an ugly, ugly caterpillar into a beautiful butterfly. These are all symbols and representations of change and transformation. And in this exhibit, these symbols of change and transformation are being eaten, are indeed transforming into a new source of energy for the ants colony. This piece serves as Wu Qing's own personal little life cycle, forever frozen in time. And I believe it's a good reminder that in death you can find life, but in life there is also death.
Hi, my name is Sherry. I'm a volunteer junior ambassador. Today I will introduce this artwork, New Year's Orchid, made by Wu Qing. It combines of pure gold and green jade. Unlike other artworks, the leaves of flower looks like slippery, which because of the property of gold. I noticed that the roots of the flower penetrates through the stone, which can represent the persistency. Also, when we come closer, there are many butterflies on the top of the flower. It's because Wu Qing's love of nature and care for observation. Also, Wu Qing received some Buddhist knowledge. In Buddhism, butterflies can represent new hope and life. What makes it to be a treasure is not only because of the value of gold, but also because it's deeper meaning behind the artwork. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hi, my name is Paige Kwan, and I'm a junior ambassador at Bowers Museum. Today, the piece I'd like to talk to you about is a piece called Mundane Infinity, and it is a gold sculpture made by the artist Wu Qing. As you can see from many of the pieces in the exhibit, Wu Qing likes to incorporate many Buddhist ideas into his artwork. In this piece, you can see many freshly bloomed flowers and insects to represent life, and then the skull to represent death. So this piece is very representative of the span of the life cycle. Also, gold is an everlasting metal, and that can be contrasted with the 10,000-year-old petrified skull to also represent life and death. I think this piece is a treasure because if you take a closer look, you can see just how finely the lines and the details of the piece come together to form such a magnificent piece of artwork. I also think that the ideas that it represents are also very important. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayden Chi. The piece you have in front of you here is called Rest. This piece is the first jade piece by Hsieh that you are seeing today. This piece depicts a moment of peace as butterflies rest above water. If you look close, you'll see that the wings of the butterflies are carved so thinly that they're almost translucent. The same is true for this leaf, where the holes are so detailed as to make the leaf look porous. So far in this gallery, we've seen how nature can be strong, nature can be resilient. In this piece, we see that nature can be very delicate. I think what Hsieh may be pointing to is that we can't always take nature for granted. Another very unique aspect of this piece is the coloration of the jade. On this side, we have rich, pristine whites. On this side, we have dark greens. Demonstrates the natural beauty of the stone itself. Jade actually comes in two forms. The first is nephrite, the other is jadeite. This piece in particular is made from jadeite, as it's almost exclusively found in Myanmar and wasn't discovered until the late 1700s. This is a more rare form. In this gallery, there are only 7 jadeite pieces. I want to end by reading a poem, because Hsieh accompanies each of his jade pieces with a poem he has written himself. This is a poem for rest. This is the end of the world. There is a rare moment of beauty. See the pure water and the resting butterflies. Feel the purity of life. Before nature, is destroyed by humans, time is paused. Thank you for listening to my presentation today.
Welcome to Bowers Museum. I'm Deko Hsiao and I'm a junior ambassador at Bowers. Today I'll be showing you all to a collection called A Tribute to Autumn by Hsieh. I'll start off with this poem to the right. Once upon a time, it was just a rough jade stone. It is the silence that has condensed for millions of years. Carving is the beginning of this conversation. The sound of carving is the screaming for resisting the loss of oneself. The jade can hardly stick to itself. Even with a tough personality, it can be ground away little by little. It also touches the heart of the jade carver. If the jade carver is a little careless, the jade will break and the heart will be broken. When they go from resistance to harmony, the heart and jade are combined into one. A dead leaf falls into eternity. So this poem is trying to tell us that these leaf pieces are all very delicate. And if the jade carver is just a little careless and accidentally messes up a little, the whole piece might break. What I find interesting about these pieces, there's this piece in particular that is interesting. And then also the colors. There's green, white, and gold. For this piece, as you can see, there's a dragonfly in the middle, and it's also a dead leaf. And if you take a closer look, the dragonfly actually has holes in its wings. So it's somewhat like a tribute to autumn because both the dragonfly and the leaf are dying. And as you can see, the stone on the bottom, that is made from the same piece, same block of jade as the leaf on top. All right, so let's move on to this piece. So what's special about this piece is that this piece is actually the biggest jade piece out of the other leaves. And also the wood in the back is also made from the same block of jade as the leaf part. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I'm Connor Shih, and I'm a junior ambassador for Bowers Museum. This piece here is Kingfisher. It is made with nephrite, which is a type of jade, and the sculptor is Hsieh. So Kingfisher is all one piece, which makes it very unique. What symbolism do you see here? Personally, I see symbolism that sometimes life can move fast, but you can take it and slow it down for yourself and just be in the moment. Why do you think the sculptor made this? I think that the sculptor was probably sitting at the pond, watching birds fly across the pond and catch fish. And I think that this piece is very unique because it is all one piece, but even though it is slightly off-center, it is still balanced and stable.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayden Chi and I'm a junior ambassador at Bowers Museum. Today, I'll be presenting to you Heartgate. Well, let's start off with a question. What do you see in this piece of art? Well, I see that it's a gate, but I believe that this gate symbolizes perhaps trial and hope, with the chain being the trial and with the little crack in the middle being hope. So I believe that Hsieh has had many trials in his life in jade carving because jade carving is not a simple thing. Well, if you look closer at this piece of jade, it's actually one piece instead of two pieces connected together with a chain. Something that's very interesting is that he would have to perfectly calculate how much jade he has and how much he carves every time. Meaning that if he made a small mistake, the whole piece would be destroyed. And I find that very skillful that he could create this, and that everything here is all connected as one piece of jade. Bringing this back to trials and hardships, I'd like to tell you a personal story of mine. When I was younger, I did not know how to speak English, so I was not able to talk to friends or really just talk to anyone. But as I grew older, I was able to learn more English and talk to others. So that has allowed me to talk to my friends and present in front of you all today. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassidy and I am a junior ambassador here at Bowers Museum. Today I'll be presenting a nephrite sculpture by Hsieh, Signs of Spring. Do you notice anything unique about the sculpture? One thing that I would like to point out is the color variation. Near the bottom, the color of this sculpture is a very dull, almost whitish green. But closer to the top, especially near the vines, the green is almost translucent and a very bright color. This color variation can be explained by a Chinese legend about jade, the stone of heaven. In ancient China, the people were prey to wild animals, but the storm god looked down from heaven and took pity on them. With one hand, he grasped a rainbow, and with the other, he fashioned them into two jade axes, which he threw down from heaven for the people to find. When they did, they guessed its origin correctly, and thus jade was dubbed the stone of heaven. This variety of colors can be explained by this legend because using the rainbow, it created a multitude of colors, all found within one single block of jade. This is also what makes Signs of Spring a treasure, because of Huang Fuxiu's diligence and creating a beautiful sculpture that is the labor of love. Not only does Signs of Spring show incredible craftsmanship, but it also captures a beautiful scene of nature and its vibrancy that I think can inspire us to preserve nature more in order to see more moments like this. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayden Chi. I hope you've enjoyed our presentations today. I've had a really great time as an assistant trainer here at the Bowers Museum with the junior ambassadors. Today we've seen many themes of the cycle of life, the diversity of nature, environmentalism. We've also gained insight into the artists Huang Fuxiu and Wu Qing, as well as the materials they work in, gold and jade. I want to thank everyone on behalf of the junior ambassadors. I want to thank Ms. Ann Shih, Dr. Peter Keller, and Ms. Ann Llewellyn for making this possible for us.